Cover One crew. What is going on? Chris Childs back again. Hope everybody's great out there, man. Happy weekend to everybody. Man, we got a good one this week. Lots of injuries again. It just doesn't stop for us fantasy football managers. Running to that waiver, trying to find last-minute replacements. We got a boatload of them. This, of course, is Week 5. Start, sit, all players, all positions, and all teams to get you ready for Sunday and Monday. What a dandy it was on Thursday night, though. Oh, my goodness. It was almost better to watch paint dry, but you know what? It is football, and we love it. Do me a favor, y'all. Hit that like button for me. Get in those comments. Ask those start-sit questions. I will definitely get back to y'all, but what do you say we dive into all the good stuff and get into week number 5? So before we get going, just want to let you all know we got a giveaway going on for signables. I mean, sign up right today at signables.com/pages/cover1. You can be entered in to win this beautiful Josh Allen signable. Pretty cool stuff if you guys do not know. But nevertheless, what do you guys say we, skip all the formalities and go into week number 5? And I mean, it's going to be a very tough week for a lot of people. I have that feeling. But let's start off with those Arizona Cardinals. They are 2-2. Philly is 4-0, and this is okay, fine. The good thing is they're at home. This is a positive for Arizona, but this is going to be a very difficult showing. Philly's defense is for real and legit, and this offense is starting to pick up steam. Kyler Murray, I'm going to give him the mid-level risk play this week because I am terrified to death what this defense could potentially do to him. I mean, they have not been on point on the offensive side for these Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury's seat is red hot, and I would not be surprised if he joins Matt Rule on the fired list very, very shortly. I'm giving a low floor to James Conner this week because, again, that defensive front is very stout and very strong. If they can't get this run game going, Kyler's going to be running for his life as well. 3 boom games for Kyler, though, so you got to think he's going to boom at least in this contest with the rushing upside. This is one of the first games we've seen with the Eagles playing a true rushing quarterback like Kyler Murray, so it will be interesting to see how they are tested. Hollywood Brown, you're going to give him low risk every single week until D-Hop does come back. They do got some injuries, but everybody is ready to go. Apparently, outside of A.J. Green, he still is a higher questionable tag than the rest of these individuals. High risk for Dortch because, like I said, he's just going to continue to get faded now that Rondale Moore is back. They will try to feed Rondale just a little bit more in this offense, and Zach Ertz is a low-risk play because he just continues to ball. If you guys got yourself some Zach Ertz, he is doing very well in this offense and should, again, continue versus the Eagles, and maybe garbage time productivity could be a big one for this offense right now, man. The Atlanta Falcons going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. I don't like it one bit. I got high risk on Mariota, Zacchaeus, Hodge, and Fursker, excuse me. The bad news is that Kyle Pitts is out. Is it bad news? He's been killing us all season already, and I mean, week 5 now he's out. This is 5 basically bust games for a Kyle Pitts. He's got 1 boom so far this season, but I mean, out of this offense, Tyler Algier, there is no Cordero Patterson. Not a whole heck of a lot to get excited about in this offense overall. Mid-level risks for Huntley and Algier, but I mean, Drake London's going to have his hands full. So will Marcus Mariota. I do not foresee Tampa Bay, dropping a dud here. This is for first place in the NFC South, if you can believe it. I don't like a lot of these plays right now. I understand you paid a lot of fab dollars for Algier. You're likely going to start him. Huntley could be sprinkled in with that, even split carry in this backfield, but there could be a lot of garbage time productivity in this contest as well. I fully expect Tommy Touchdown to be very good in this game. Drake London is the one that you likely are going to be starting. I'm still going to fire him up this week because there could be potential for TD upside, but Mariota I will not play this week whatsoever. The Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football. And what do we know? Lamar Jackson is a stud, and you're playing him every single week on that stud start. He's just booming every single game. Even in losses, he's making you, happy and smiling with all the point productivity. J.K. Dobbins is back. We got to love that about him, right? He looked very good. 25.5 points since his return. He's got 1 boom game coming from this past week. He looks good. He looks healthy. He looks recovered. So, the taking it slow path for these Baltimore Ravens, nursing him along to get him healthy, to get him back in the good graces, it is starting to look good. We do got some injuries. Justice Hill is out. Rashad Bateman is out. Gus Edwards still out, but he is likely returning very soon off that pup. They have 21 days to put him in. So it's Mike Davis behind J.K. That's why I'm saying low-risk play for J.K. They're going to feed him the ball quite a bit in this game without a serviceable backup because we know what Mike Davis is. He is due doo-doo, and we're not going to be starting him. No kidding. Devin Duvernay does get the good upside tick this week because he basically will take over the number one target duties, but it will be likely, I should say 1B, because 1A is always going to be Mark Andrews. Demarcus Robinson is a sneaky play. I was going to put sleeper upside, but I'm going to keep him as a mid-level risk because I do believe the Ravens will try to run the ball a lot in this contest. Lamar Jackson likely will be taking off a ton in this game, and you got to love that for all Lamar Jackson owners, but the Baltimore Ravens are dealing with some level of injuries. Devin Duvernay is a definite play for me with a lot of good upside. I like his potential this week to have a very big boom. The Buffalo Bills Mafia, get up, stand up, and we're going to cheer and chant because we looked like hot garbage last week. What can I say? It's facts. We didn't look very good. We started slow. Turnovers hampered us. The rain killed us. I mean, we got weather. We got too much heat. There's too much wetness. I don't like it. But you know what? We're back in Buffalo, and this is going to be good against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are struggling, who are dealing with a lot of injuries on the defensive back end. So Josh Allen is, again, that stud start play. No kidding. Devin Singletary, for me, though, he has proven to me that he is a very big part in this offense right now. I don't like it as much. I wanted more James Cook, but I don't hate Devin Singletary. I think he's a good running back overall. Is he great? Not great, but he is a good running back overall. He does all the little things very well. He does have very good PPR upside this season, the way that they're utilizing him in this pass game. That's why I believe, and that's why I was so high on James Cook this offseason, because I thought that role was going to go to him. Apparently not, but I mean, Devin Singletary has been doing well enough for you to start him this week. James Cook, Zach Moss, you keep him on the bench or on the waiver wire where they belong at this point. Stephon Diggs, another stud start for me because this Pittsburgh defense is decimated on the defensive back end. They will feast. Josh Allen will find his man Stephon Diggs on the regular. I am going to put a low-risk caveat here on a Gabe Davis this week. It's time. We're waiting for that big blow-up game. This is the game I do believe Gabe Davis, barring any issues on that ankle, but he looks like he's gotten over it based on practice highlights. But Gabe Davis, to me, definite low risk. This is the contest you want to see him break out and have a monster showing. They want to get a little bit more rhythm, but he is the low-risk play. Isaiah McKenzie, the reason why I got Gabe Davis as the low risk, McKenzie mid risk. McKenzie's coming off that concussion, so maybe they, give him kind of a day off in the game. They don't feed him and pepper him with a lot of targets. Maybe that goes to a little bit more of a Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. No Dawson Knox in this contest, so Morris will be the tight end. Not really, favorable upside. This is a very risky play if you're going to play him. I don't recommend it, but if you got the kahunas, the big kahunas to play him, then I get it. But the Bills facing on Pittsburgh at home is going to be should be a blowout. I think it's going to be a lot of points. Carolina Panthers going to playing, I should say, the San Francisco 49ers. And Baker Mayfield, it's no longer the bake show. It's a bake sale, man. Everything must go, including Baker Mayfield. He looks absolutely horrific on the field. High risk. I will not even look in his direction to play him. Matt Rule is on the hot seat. He has completely lost this locker room. It is not a good look. It is not a good sight for anything going on in Carolina right now outside of Christian McCaffrey. He has 4 boom games, and he's the only thing that is productive in this offense. We knew, barring any health issues, Christian McCaffrey was going to be the stud every single week. DJ Moore, low upside. Anderson, Shia Smith, Ian Thomas all have high-risk tags on them this week. For me, no Laviska Shenault. He is out in this contest, so you can't trust any of it outside of a CMC. Baker Mayfield, you got to show something, but that San Francisco 49ers defense is straight up legit, and they will make you come with the bum rush. And Baker Mayfield, I feel bad for you because I foresee like 6 sacks at least coming from these 49ers, man. The Chicago Bears taking their talents and what maybe their poor talents. I don't know. I don't want to be too critical, but hey, that's what they look like. At Minnesota, Justin Fields. This offense, man, I mean, what can we say about the Chicago Bears offense? It just does not look good. It looks like Coach Nagy never left this team. It's vanilla. It's not creative. The only positive, again, here is a Khalil Herbert, who is like, 8th in the NFL in rushing, if not higher. Like, he's just doing fabulous work right now in football overall. Fantasy football, he is repaying you, getting him off the waiver wire if you did not draft his services. David Montgomery still on the injury tag with a questionable hit with the ankle. He may not play, so definitely watch out for that. Obviously, fire up Khalil Herbert either way, because I think that this backfield will now morph into that 50-50 split even when David Montgomery does come back to the field. Yes, you will be hurting week in, week out on certain top-end touches, but I think that Khalil Herbert is here to stay, and we could definitely see the following season the Chicago Bears move on from a David Montgomery. That's how good Herbert has been playing. Darnell Mooney found himself back in the good graces last week, finally got a boom game, finally got you some points, 16.1. Will it be consistent? That is the question here. Minnesota's defense, they're decent. They're not great, okay? And they do have issues on that back end, but Darnell Mooney needs some help and assistance from his other wide receivers, which he will not get, which he has not been getting. Cole Kmet has done nothing for the man to pull coverage to his side. I'm putting the mid-level risk in hopes that they're going to continue to pepper him with targets, and hopefully he will be able to make something happen. I do not really recommend it. I mean, I'm not recommending even Fields. The only recommended play this week for me is a Khalil Herbert from these Chicago Bears. Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday Night Football, like we said, against those Baltimore Ravens. And Joey B, man, these Bengals are back. They look very good. They look sharp, and they look like they're moving in the right direction. Stud starts for Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and we're going to say right now it's been a little bit off kilter for this offense. They got to find their mojo back. Sunday Night Football is where they do it, man. This is prime time contest. Everybody's going to be all eyes on both offenses with Lamar and Joe Burrow. It's going to be a very good show. So stud start for both Jamar Chase and Joey B. Joe Burrow. Low risk play for Joe Mixon. He's putting you up very good point productivity. But again, this is the problem with Joe Mixon, the inconsistency rates. You're going to see it all season long. It's just how they utilize him in this backfield. They should get him more involved in the pass game. Zach Taylor, the coach, he does not do it near enough, and I don't know why. Injury risk does get hit to A.T. Higgins because of what? The ankle injury, excuse me. And I mean, so maybe they give him a little bit of a night off in terms of target share. That gives Tyler Boyd a little bit of an uptick. And I think maybe, depending on how injured that ankle is, they're saying he's going to suit up. They're saying it's nothing to be overly concerned about, but Tyler Boyd could definitely get an uptick in this contest based on that. Hayden Hurst is one of those reliable tight ends that'll get you 6 to 8 points per week, and I have no doubt in my mind that he will likely give that to you as well this week. The Cleveland Browns, the Brownies, taking on those LA Chargers. Jacoby Brissett, mid-level risk play. Chargers defense has not been looking as advertised. They do not look very good on the field overall. I mean, so there are holes that they can be gashed upon. Will Jacoby Brissett find them? Likely not. Where I see it is, again, the run game. Nick Chubb, stud start. Good upside for Kareem Hunt this week. It's been 3 games of lesser point productivity for a Kareem Hunt. I really believe this is where they get Kareem Hunt the ball back, especially in the pass game, kind of like they do in LA with Austin Eckler. Give him the rock, feed him the rock in the pass game, see what he can do after the catch. But Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, I'm definitely playing this week. Mari Cooper, giving him a little bit of a mid-level risk because I think there's going to be double teams on him all day. Jacoby Brissett may struggle just a little bit, but we'll see. I don't foresee, the 100-yard performance. Maybe we get lucky, he saves the day and he finds the end zone, but that's definitely a mid-level risk for me. High levels for the other wide receivers, and David Njoku gets a mid-level risk again. Started the game out very well last week and then kind of tapered off and tailored off. Wasn't the best of situations, but he has already proven to me that you can trust him at a mid-level if you are in a pinch for a tight end because he does possess the high-end athletic ability, speed, upside to get you a lot of point productivity. The Dallas Cowboys taking their talents to LA to face the Rams. 3-1 versus 2-2. This Dallas defense. Okay, I see ya. You guys are doing very well. Cooper Rush, man, the new Tony Romo. I don't know, man. We could have a quarterback controversy by the time Dak Prescott comes back. I wouldn't put it out the question. I'm just kidding. But Cooper Rush has looked pretty good, man. Mid-level play this week against the Rams, who don't look the same as they used to, even with Jalen Ramsey getting cooked like I have never seen by Debo. And, I mean, Debo was clowning him on Instagram. You got to love that. But, I mean, Cooper Rush, mid-level risk, he's doing more than enough to at least, support this offense in the fantasy point productivity. Zeke Elliott, low upside for me. I'm starting to get out on the Zeke Elliott train. He's still a bulldozer. He's still a tank, but that top end speed is gone. And I mean, I just don't foresee good endings unless he finds the end zone. I believe he is very much TD dependent at this point to give you the top end numbers above the 10, 12 point threshold, and he's got low upside for me if you're going to give him the 15 touches. Tony Pollard is dealing with an illness. He is sick, so we'll see if he is going to suit up in this contest. CeeDee Lamb does draw a questionable tag with the groin, but there is no doubt that he's going to play in this contest. This is a game I really want to see CeeDee Lamb take shape, okay? He's likely going to see a lot of Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey does does not shadow in this defense, so he'll see him in sprinkles. So if the Dallas Cowboys are intelligent, which I hope they are on offense, they're gonna move CeeDee Lamb around quite a bit to give him those mismatch opportunities. This is a game, though, I want to see CeeDee Lamb where he has started to show that he's taken over. I want to see him do it against the Rams defense and their secondary. I want to make it, because I'm a huge fan. I love me some CeeDee Lamb. You're obviously playing CeeDee Lamb, but the only reason why I got the mid-level risk is because of Jalen Ramsey, because he might be a little bit angry after what Debo did to him. Noah Brown, he's turning into a decent producer, but now with Michael Gallup back, we could see that target share start to pull back a little bit. Gallup found his way into the end zone, 9.4 points this past week. Dalton Schultz is that question mark. I almost had him at a high risk again this week because he is dealing with that knee injury. Basically, the Cowboys gave him the game off, even though he was on the field, did not really see a target come his way. This is the week you want to see him get a little bit more, sprinkled into the offense with some plays coming his way. We shall see. It's a cautionary start for a Dalton Schultz. I got him suiting up in a couple leagues, so I can't fault you if you have him because you drafted him where you did. The Detroit Lions dealing with a slew of injuries. Swift's still out. Chark's still out. Josh Reynolds, his questionable tag, should play. Amon-Ra should play with his ankle as he got a limited practice in on Friday. Jared Goff is doing more than enough than we can ever say, man. 91 points in 4 weeks. You can't hate what Jared Goff is doing on this field. Jamal Williams looks like a Barry Sanders out there with those jets and those wheels. Definite low-risk play. You're firing up both Jared Goff and a Jamal Williams in this contest. Amon-Ra, though, it's a toughie, man. If he's going to be playing, you obviously got to start him. There's no question about that. But there is the risk to re-injury because I don't think he is as healthy as they're saying right now. The stipulations that we're seeing, it's still very sore, and he's having a hard time cutting. So we shall see. Cautionary start for an Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I get it. If he's playing, you got to fire him up because you would hate to see Amon-Ra score 20 points on your bench. Josh Reynolds has been doing very good in the absence of DJ Chark and company. And I think he will continue. If he makes his way, there's no indication that he's not going to suit up in this contest at this point. So Josh Reynolds, to me, is a very sneaky flex play this week against the New England Patriots, who have been struggling overall on both sides of the football. And TJ Hawkinson gets another big low-risk play for me this week. I called it last week with all the injuries. You knew the Detroit Lions were going to, force-feed TJ Hawkinson. This could be the case once again this week. Even if Amon-Ra does suit up, maybe he does play a little bit more of that decoy role, but TJ Hawkinson, definitely fire him up and do not look back. The Green Bay Packers, cheeseheads, man, they're going to London, and you got some of the players at Green Bay saying, this London game sucks, man. And okay, I understand. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, both low-risk plays for me. Romeo Doubs, he has now found his way to a low-risk level play. You can start trusting these guys now weekly because they are starting to build that chemistry. Romeo Doubs is pulling away from a Christian Watson, where Watson is going to start looking like, the gadget type of guy in this offense until he gets his footing a little bit more. That speed from Watson is what they loved and why they drafted him so high. But Romeo Doubs, he's got the full package, already starting to turn the corner just a little bit for this rookie with the route tree, with the separation on the line. He is taking those Devontae Adams routes that we have seen in the past. So, Doubs is definitely one of those guys that you got to fire up every week now. Allen Lazard's becoming more trustworthy as the weeks continue to go. So it is this, spread the ball by attrition. Everybody is getting a little bit of action, like Oprah saying, you get some. This is just what it is in this offense. Robert Tonyan does get some TD upside for me this week. I do like how this offense is. It's going to become very difficult for defenses to peg in on, target in on a lot of these players, especially when guys like Aaron Jones are running the ball very, very well. You cannot stop feeding the man. This is why we're seeing a little bit of a decrease for an A.J. Dillon. They haven't been able to get on the goal line inside the 5 as much because they're scoring outside the red zone inside the 20. So that's why it's working out that way. But A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, I'm going Jones over Dillon this week. No kidding about it. Robert Tonyan, a little bit of a sneaky play in London for some TD upside. Houston Texans continue down this path to grind, and, I don't like it again this week. I said, okay, Dameon Pierce, mid-level risk. Everyone's all, clamoring because he got this big 78-yard touchdown. It was one play. Anybody can do that, okay? It was good. I get it. I'm not trying to bash the man. Mid-level risk against the Jaguars' stout defense. They are very good defensively. The rookie linebacker, Lloyd, is a unit, put together man, human being on that defense. and I think Dameon Pierce might struggle just a little bit. So a cautionary mid-level risk for him this week. I can't fault you for starting him. I'll probably fire him up myself where I have him, but I don't have many shares of him, but it is a mid-level risk. I am going to say everybody else outside of a Brandon Cooks, again, it's going to be very much hit and miss. 4 weeks, 2 boom games for Brandon Cooks. It's just not going to be consistent overall this season. There is no Chris Moore, no Brevin Jordan in this contest versus the Jaguars. And I think the Jags are ready to go. I think that, after what it was kind of the test versus Philadelphia last week to say, what are we? And we saw they're not there yet. They're not even close, but they're building in the right direction. Games like that, getting punched in the chin to see what's going on. Houston is definitely going to get a little bit of wrath of these Jacksonville Jaguars, so I would definitely caution a lot of these plays. Pierce and Cooks are the only ones that you can trust from this offense. Those Jacksonville Jaguars going up against hosting Houston, I should say. Trevor Lawrence, I'm putting him down as a low-risk play this week because he needs a bounce back. 4 fumbles. I mean, Philly's defense is good. What can we say? Trevor Lawrence had another welcome to the NFL moment, even though he's been in the league now for a year and 5 games. But against the Houston Texans, you got to like what you see. The defense is not overly abundant with super talent. Stingley has been getting cooked. He's, they're targeting him every single place they can. Here's the thing, okay? I'm going to play James Robinson as my low risk, okay? I got it. No problem. He's going to have a bounce-back game because, like I said, the Eagles definitely collapsed everything on the run game. Travis Etienne, man, okay? I'm talking to you right in the eye. This is your game. If you can't do something in this game, I mean, everyone's going to be coming to me, breaking down my door because I was promoting you so hard in the offseason. Why can't you do something? Showcase those wheels that you do have. You're killing me, Etienne. You're legit killing me. This is the game, though. High risk, you can't trust it, but I want to see him do it. If he booms on my bench, I'm so okay with that. I just want to see it happen. I want to see him take a 60, 70-yard play to the house and make the house call and get in that damn end zone already. Etienne, you're killing me, man. There we go. I'm getting a little triggered. Christian Kirk, he gets a low-risk play. He's going to have a bounce back against these Texans as well. Zay Jones, you got to watch out because he is questionable on the ankle. If that's the case, then you got Agnew. He's going to be the guy. That's why I got him in parenthesis right there because he is the next guy up if he does. He looked good. He was the gadget type of guy that they wanted Laviska to be. He just couldn't do it. Agnew looks like that guy. Marvin Jones, mid-level risk. I mean, he's got some sneaky appeal. You can't really trust it or play him at this point. Evan Ingram does have low upside, but again, versus the Texans, defense that isn't great. Maybe we see Evan Ingram find the end zone this week. I am banking on the end zone shot this week, so I will fire up Evan Ingram if you are dying for a tight end. Kyle Pitts owners, especially if you need somebody, there is potential Evan Ingram TD upside this week. The Kansas City Chiefs gone Monday Night Football going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. And I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They are stud starts, man. I don't know what is going on. CEH, you test that man for some steroids. I don't know. I'm not spreading rumors, but we haven't seen CH play this well in his entire career for this long of a span. 4 boom games in a row for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If you drafted him, I apologize. I was out on Clyde. I am back in. It's okay to change my mind, right? I'm allowed to do that. So this is what I'm doing. I'm changing my mind, and I'm hopping back on the bandwagon for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Okay, fine, no problem. Travis Kelce also is the stud start this week. Juju gets a mid-level risk. I don't like what's going on with these wide receivers. Very hard to trust. McCole Hardman, MVS. Can't trust it. Won't do it. Not starting it. If you're playing Juju in the flex, I'm okay with it, because I think he will get at least that, 8 targets in this contest versus the Raiders. The Raiders do play the Chiefs very hard every single time they play from last couple seasons, so definitely watch out for the potential upset. I would not be surprised, but Chiefs looked very good last week, so I wonder, if they're going to have a little bit of a letdown. I doubt it, but I mean, Juju about 6-7 targets. It's a decent floor, but he's got to make those catches, and it's got to be a little bit further down the field than those short little passes are given. The Los Angeles Chargers going into Cleveland to face the Browns. I'm still got to put a mid-level risk on Herbert this week because of those ribs. I mean, he's looking better. He's looking like it's healing. Man, that pain tolerance this man has is absolutely ridiculous. What I say about Austin Eckler last week, they gave Herbert basically the game off. Eckler goes off. I had the stud start on him last week. I'm still putting the low-risk play on him again this week. Even though the Browns' defense is a little bit better in that front seven, I still like the ability that Eckler could provide. I think they're going to morph it again, try to protect Herbert a little bit more, let those those ribs heal another week while he's on the field, and Eckler could see a very big, share of the workload in this contest. Mike Williams is the healthy wide receiver outside of DeAndre Carter. Keenan Allen is out of this contest. Palmer is dealing with an ankle as well. Seems like everybody's ankle's hurting right now. It's only week 5. Wrap them up and go play. I don't know what else to say. That rhymes. You got to love that. But Mike Williams, low-risk play this week once again. Especially against Cleveland's defense that has not played well. Denzel Ward has seen better days on the defensive back end, so if he's going to be locked up against Mike Williams in this contest, I'm favoring Mike Williams at this point. DeAndre Carter might be the sneakier play over a Josh Palmer, depending on how injured that ankle really is, so definitely watch the injury reports on Saturday and Sunday to see who is, if Josh Palmer is in fact going to suit up. Gerald Everett also does draw a questionable tag based on the hamstring injury. They're basically saying he's good to go, so I'm firing up everywhere I got him. Low risk play versus the Browns linebackers, who will struggle to cover this man who has 3 boom games already in 4-man, 41 points for this tight end. Gerald Everett has been an absolute star in LA. The Los Angeles Rams versus the Dallas Cowboys. Matthew Stafford. Okay. We got to talk about this man right now. So this arm problem, the shoulder or the elbow, whatever it was that was in training camp, clearly a problem because we haven't seen Matthew Stafford really play this poorly in a long time. He's only locking in on Cooper Kupp, and that's all he's doing. Everyone else is an afterthought in this offense. Allen Robinson is not, why did you pay the man? If you weren't going to play him, why are you paying him? I don't get it. Matthew Stafford, mid-level risk for me. I am not trusting him this week. Versus the Cowboys, extreme pass rush. They are getting to every quarterback that they are facing, creating turnovers, fumbles, and sacks galore every single week. Same goes for Cam Akers. I will not trust you, sir, until you prove it. Put him on the bench. Try to trade him. I mean, it sucks because you're going to trade him for low and nobody wants him, but Darrell Henderson does get the low upside, potential TD upside in this offense. But again, that front seven has been playing so well, and they are just, rushing after every quarterback, stopping and plugging the lanes. Very hard for anybody to get any ground attack going. Cooper Kupp stud start. He's game proof. He's defense proof. He's going to find his way to get those 10 catches, 120 yards, and potentially a touchdown. That's just what Cooper Kupp does. Allen Robinson, you're not trusting it. Ben, I can never say his last name. I practiced it before the show, and I can't do it. Skowronek. I think I got it, man. High fives, everybody. Virtual high fives. He's a high-risk play. You're not playing him anyway, even after all that work. But Tyler Higbee is one of these guys that now becomes back on the low-risk trend for me. I do like his start this week versus the Cowboys. I do believe he's, getting reinstalled in this offense now where they're not trusting in Allen Robinson like we thought they would. They need that secondary option, and Higbee seems to be that guy, especially with a limited rushing upside this offense does have. So we shall see, especially with the hot reads and the checkdowns. Matthew Stafford could be looking to that tight end. Definitely get him off the waivers and fire him up if he is there. The Las Vegas Raiders going on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. Like I said, Derek Carr, I'm going to give him the low-risk play this week because they love to play these Kansas City Chiefs. They play them hard every single time, especially the last couple seasons, like I mentioned. Josh Jacobs also gets a low-risk play. Josh McDaniels, he understands, hey, I got a thoroughbred in my backfield named Josh Jacobs, and he's actually producing, man. What, 69 points? 69, yes. So you got to love that, the magical number. Josh Jacobs does have it right now, and I'm firing both these guys up if I have them. Devontae Adams, low-risk play. I think this is an interesting test for a Kansas City defense right now who hasn't necessarily seen a player like a Devontae Adams yet. So I'm curious to see how Derek Carr and Adams are going to form their chemistry versus this defense with their front seven being very powerful in Kansas City as well. Hunter Renfrow is their injury risk this week. He may come back from that concussion. Darren Waller also questionable tag with the shoulder, but I'm going to put him as a mid-level risk. He just hasn't done enough for me to get all warm and fuzzy. Yes, you're playing him every week because of who he is. Just don't have the warm and fuzzies, Darren. You're making me kind of sad, but I mean, I'm definitely firing up Jacobs, Adams, and Carr this week without even thinking about it. And Darren Waller, a little bit of a throw up in my mouth, but you got to play him. It is what it is. The Miami Dolphins, the Fish, they got some problems. Teddy Bridgewater is their quarterback now. Tua is going to be out of this contest. Tyreek Hill, he pops up on Friday on the injury report with a quad. Jalen Waddle does have a groin, but Waddle is more healthy than Tyreek is at this point. So you got to give the low risk to Tyreek. You got to give the stud start to a Jalen Waddle, and potentially they give less target share to Tyreek this week. Let him heal up that quad just a little bit. But you definitely got to watch that injury report because he could actually sit because I believe this quad did happen and flare up on Friday. So you definitely got to watch that on Sunday in pregame to see if he's going to suit up, because it could be like the Alvin Kamara thing where it was early in the morning. Yes, it's not London time, but I mean, early in the morning, they sat Alvin Kamara, and a lot of fantasy owners got bit in the butt for that one. Chase Edmonds gets a low-risk play. He's starting to pick up steam. He's getting those red zone opportunities, and the Jets' defense does give up a lot of opportunities to get in the red zone. Chase Edmonds has been finding his way, has a nose for this end zone, not getting a boatload of carries, but you're definitely banking on TD upside. I think he gets at least one in this contest. Raheem Mostert's still on the high risk, but it is improving. I want to see him get a little bit more volume before I'm going to piggyback it and say, I trust this man right now. His wheels are great. They're doing the good mix and match right now, so maybe we will see a little bit of a changing of the guard. Protect Teddy Bridgewater just a little bit. Add some more rushing attempts. Protect Tyreek Hill. Use Jalen Waddle, and that's kind of how it's going to go. Craig Kraft is the high risk, but he's getting some volume, enough to take notice. And Mike Gesicki, you are definitely not playing this man unless Tyreek Hill is injured and does not play. That's the only caveat I'll put on a Mike Gesicki at this point. Watch Tyreek Hill if he's out. Play Gesicki because target share has to go somewhere. The Minnesota Vikings taking on those Chicago Bears. Kirk Cousins, I know, I get it. Everyone's going to say, you're crazy. Why you got him as a low-risk play this week? They need a bounce back. It's simple as that. They need a bounce back game, and it's against the Bears defense that, okay, they got some players. That rookie Brisker, the safety, he looks good. He looks, like he can take some hits and punishment, give some punishment, I should say. But Kirk Cousins needs a bounce back. This game definitely low risk for me for the defense. Here we go. This is what everybody wanted to say about Dalvin Cook. I'm going to go on the limb. I'm going on the ledge. Okay, this is the breakout game for Dalvin Cook. Okay, we haven't seen it all season long. He's getting you, 12, 16 points? Pedestrian numbers from a guy like Dalvin Cook. Stud start of the week is Dalvin Cook for me. I think this is the get-right game for this run game, for this offense to do what they do best, and that is move fast, run the ball, and throw it to JJ. This is what we're going to do. Stud start for JJ as well. Adam Thielen gets a low risk. They're starting to go back to the formula that worked in Minnesota. Thielen is starting to get peppered once again. He's almost 40 points, where JJ's back up to 71. JJ had a big game in London across the pond this past week. He will again this week. So sprinkle it out, JJ and Thielen. Thielen should have a good day, not great. JJ should have a fabulous day where Dalvin Cook breaks out for the 2022 NFL season, and then low-risk play for Kirk Cousins in that contest. The New England Patriots taking on those Detroit Lions, and Billy Zappe, if you want to be fancy. Billy Zappe, I mean, what do you say? He is one of these guys. I like him, okay? What can I say? I like his game. Oh, he's got a lot of intangibles. You do covet out of your quarterback. He's got a good arm. He's, good pocket presence. Is he a little careless? Fine, you get it. He's a little bit of a gunslinger. High-risk play. You're not playing him, but I want to see improvements. I think he is a decent quarterback. Damian Harris and Ramondre. Dre get the low-risk plays for me this week. Fire up both these running backs where you have them. They are starting to pick up the run game in New England, understanding this is how this offense needs to move, especially with a guy like Zappe, and I mean, okay, it's fine. Myers, again, injury risk. I will not trust it this week until we realize that he is fully healthy. Devontae Parker, though, he's starting to pick up steam. Mid-level risk along with Aguilar. Somebody's got to catch these balls from Zappe, I keep messing it up now that I did it, but someone's got to catch the ball. So, Nelson Aguilar and Devontae Parker, definitely mid-level risks for me. I am not touching Hunter Henry, even with Jonnu Smith out of this contest likely, so no, I don't like it. No Mac Jones, he has been ruled out, so Billy Zappe is the guy. Zappe. New Orleans Saints versus the Seattle Seahawks. No Jameis Winston, no Michael Thomas once again. Alvin Kamara is questionable, likely to play with the ribs. Landry did play. He's going to likely suit up again in this contest, so it's another Red Rifle show with Andy Dalton, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram. I'm giving high risk to Dalton, mid-level risk to Kamara. Mark Ingram, high risk. I mean, he's seen better days when it comes to his ability to play football. I think it's time. Sign those retirement papers, Ingram. Get them ready because, I think this year should be your last. Mid-level risk for a Jarvis Landry. He will always give you the PPR upside, but who is on top? My guy, Chris Olave, CO2. I'm going to continue down with that nickname, even though he is number 12. He was number 2 back at Ohio State, so I'm going to continue down it. Olave's your guy, man, leading the league, one of the leaders in the league for ADOT, man, average depth of target, if you guys don't know what ADOT is, and that is a very good sign. That means he is going to start hitting on explosive plays more than he already has. 50 points for this rookie right now, and he has been targeted a lot. I said it in the, my other channel that I was on before. I said he was the safest rookie coming out of this draft. draft. He is just starting to pick up steam, and he's showing everybody what he is capable of. Traquan Smith is a high risk, but I mean, someone else has to catch balls from the Red Rifle. Along with Taysom Hill, he is TD dependent every single week. I was hoping they would utilize him just a little bit more. They have not. Too inconsistent to trust. I will not trust a Taysom Hill whatsoever. Keep him on the bench or the waiver where he belongs. The New York Giants in London. God, this team has injuries. Remember when we said, what the hell are they going to do with all of these wide receivers they have? Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson, Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. We were like, there's too many mouths to feed. Now there's none. All of them are out, man. Everybody's in the medical room. Toney out. Wan'Dale out. Kenny Galladay, he's been out even though he hasn't been injured. So, I mean, whatever, take that for what it's worth. But Daniel Jones, he finds his way playing in this contest. Surprisingly, after hurting his ankle, did not even get on the injury report this week. So he is definitely good to go against a Green Bay defense that can be gashed, but it's a mid-level risk. The only reason is the high-end rushing upside that he does provide and the ability for him to have Saquon Barkley as checkdowns. Barkley is going to be the stud start every single week, the leading rusher in the NFL, like I told y'all. I'm doing a victory lap in Week 5 on Saquon because I don't care. Everyone said I was crazy. Barkley's injury-prone, etc. Nope, he is back leading the league stud start for Saquon. Richie James, David Sills, Darius Slayton. I am going to say Slayton is the play this week. At wide receiver, he does have very good chemistry with a Daniel Jones. He just started falling off when he started dropping passes and getting injured, right? The coaching staff did not trust his services, put him on the bench, but Slayton has made plays in the past, and I believe this contest, they will utilize him a lot because they haven't seen him on the field very much. Unless he's hurt, and I don't even know, but he is the next man up in the rotation. So the tight end also, man, Bellinger, I mean, he is one guy you can almost trust. They're starting to utilize the tight end position in this offense a little bit more now that Saquon is running the ball. The play action pass is working, and the tight end is getting free. So, I mean, again, streaming potential there for Bellinger, but it is going to be very much hit or miss. You can get 2 points or you can get 12 points if he finds the end zone. That's just how it goes with that tight end. The New York Jets taking on those Miami Dolphins. Zach Wilson, the Cougar Killer, he found his way back to good graces. 19.7 points. He looked good. Okay, like I said, didn't look great. He looked good, and this is what we want to see from him coming back from his knee injury. Breece Hall, low-risk play. His uptick trend is continuing to fly up the board. Michael Carter continues to see less volume, and Breece Hall continues to see taking all of his volume. As this offense does get better with a Zach Wilson, Breece Hall will see bigger lanes come his way versus the Miami Dolphins defense that is very much a blitzing unit. We could see a lot of checkdowns to these running backs, but this is a game Garrett Wilson needs to get back into the good books. I had no choice. Mid-level risk. Do you play him this week? It's a cautionary play. Even though Xavier Howard's injured, I'm going to say I'm going to talk myself through this one because I've been back and forth. I've got the mid-level risk, but he's so good he can do it. If you have no other options, yes, play him, but be wary of the upside. If you have better options than a Garrett Wilson, sit Garrett Wilson this week. That's my advice. Elijah Moore, he found the chemistry back with Zach Wilson, sprinkled in a little bit, but Corey Davis continues to be the guy that we all don't like in this offense right now, but he's putting up points, 45.6 points right now in half PPR. Good upside once again. He's just the guy that's being forgotten by coverage. Okay, they're keying in on Garrett Wilson. Elijah Moore's getting the coverage. Corey Davis is basically roaming free versus lesser defensive backs, and that's why his point productivity continues to be there because he's just getting open. And, I mean, Zach Wilson would be crazy not to throw it to the open wide receiver. Tyler Conklin is the mid-level risk once again, 6 to 10 points. Every single week you're likely going to find out of this man. So it's a safe floor is what you're basically going to get from Conklin. I don't hate it. I would fire him up if you have him. You got him off the waiver for a reason. You got to utilize his services. The Philadelphia Eagles fly, and that's what they're doing. Jalen Hurts, stud start of the week once again. 103 points, and I mean, I got to say, I'll admit, okay, I was never a hater, so I'm going to caveat that as well. I was never a hater on Jalen Hurts. I just questioned his passing aptitude. I wanted him to see what he could do. Now with a guy like A.J. Brown, they got Devontae Smith. He is, pulling coverage as well. He's looking good on the field. But Hurts is making the throws. You got to love the progression you're seeing from him in the pass game. We always knew he had the rushing upside. The leadership capabilities, is what I want to talk about with the Jalen Hurts. The leadership. I have a buddy of mine. He's a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. Shout out to you, man. You know who I'm talking about. But, I mean, Jalen Hurts is one of these guys that his heart, he is the true leader, and he's going to push this team as long as they keep winning, everyone's going to buy in, okay? And then as they continue to win, people will continue to buy in even if they do drop a few games here and there. Jalen Hurts is becoming a fan favorite of mine as a dude. As a player, as a leader, I do like everything about Jalen Hurts right now. He is doing no wrong, in my opinion, as is Miles Sanders. Low-risk play, once again, 61 points. He doesn't care about your fantasy team, but he's giving you the goods. You got to love that. Kenny Gainwell, high-risk play. Boston Scott is questionable this week with ribs. He was out last week, so that'll hurt the rushing upside for a Kenneth Gainwell. Miles has been doing too good anyway to, sit. You're playing both Hurts and Sanders. A.J. Brown, obviously low-risk play. I almost put him as a stud start. He definitely finds the end zone this week. I don't think he's. Might be two. I'm confusing myself, but definitely he's hitting the end zone at least once. AJ Brown this week. Smith might see a little bit of PPR regression, but I do like his ability to be played also this week. Mid-level risk only because AJ Brown likely will feast on this Cardinals defense. Dallas Goedert is again low risk, very steady play, 10 points every single week. You like what you see from Dallas Goedert. The Pittsburgh Steelers taking travel to Buffalo to face our Bills. Kenny Pickett, small hands Pickett. He looked okay. I mean, he's the first rookie NFL quarterback to throw 11 or more passes and not hit the ground, but 3 of them were intercepted. But hey, none of them hit the ground. That's positive stuff for the first time coming in on the field. Okay, so these Pittsburgh Steelers, it is very difficult to dissect at this point because they just don't look good, man. On both sides of the ball, they look very anemic. Najee Harris does not look good. Kenny Pickett's going to give them what they require, though. Trubisky isn't the guy. He wasn't the guy. I was out already 2 weeks ago, like I said. I want to see Kenny Pickett on the field. This is kind of a trap game for the Buffalo Bills because you know they play the Chiefs next week, and they're looking ahead to Kansas City. So Pittsburgh, if you get your I's dotted, your T's crossed, you may definitely be able to, give a little, nudge to these Buffalo Bills who are playing with a lot of injuries as well. Edmonds, Poyer, Poyer's out. There's a lot of injuries the Bills have, and they're enduring on the defensive side. But again, they're saving up all the talents for the Kansas City game, so they believe that their second stringers on some parts, some levels, will be able to corral this. Najee with his 2.1 average yards per carry. You got to play him. What can you say? I can't sit here and tell you to bench Najee unless you have Derrick Henry and Miles Sanders. Then I'd say okay. So if you have that, then bench him. But outside of that, you got to play Najee even at the mid-level risk. Deontay is coming very close to being benched, man. But we got to see how it works with a Kenny Pickett. So this week, you're going to start Deontay. You're going to start George Pickens. You're going to sit Chase Claypool. And you're going to start Najee Harris. Pat Freiermuth is also a play I do like against the Buffalo Bills because he is very much a consistent player at the tight end position. He will give you very good point production. He could potentially get in the end zone on this Bills defense. But with the caveat again, I might say bench Deontay, maybe. What else can I say? It's a very tough one because, the Bills are going to rush very much every chance they can get at Kenny Pickett, try to make him confused, get some turnovers, get some fumbles. There could be some garbage time productivity, but Pickens, okay, mid-level risks. If you have no choice, you play them, but I would look elsewhere for this contest overall. The San Francisco, that took longer than I thought. Jeez, I couldn't get the words out. San Francisco 49ers going to Carolina, face these Carolina Panthers. San Fran's 2-2. But that defense, the defense looks so good. I fear for Baker Mayfield's life this week, but Jimmy Garoppolo gets the mid-level risk. He's doing what we thought he does. He's game manager, spreads the ball around the field. Low-risk level play for a Jeff Wilson. He looks faster than I remember. Last year, he was not this fast either, so he either trimmed down, got a little bit leaner, and picked up the accelerators because he does look a lot faster on the field. Debo, obviously, stud start. No need to cover that. He's going to be a baller every single week. Brandon Ayuk is a problem for me right now because I want to trust the upside, but I can't, so he is mid-level risk. I don't fault you for benching him this week. I would caution starting him even against Carolina because the way that this offense looks like they're going to keep going with Wilson, keep going with Debo. Now that George Kittle's back, we're going to see a little bit of a regression from an Ayuk where Kittle does get the mid-level risk because he's coming back from the injury as well, but I would start definitely Kittle over Ayuk, and if you have Ayuk with other options, I would look at those other options before I play him this week. It's too difficult to trust. The Seattle Seahawks going to New Orleans, face those New Orleans Saints. Geno is a low-risk play this week, and you can't say Geno's just playing good ball. Good football for him, 75.8 points. he looks good, man. He's taking the opportunity. He's running with it, and he wants to be the starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, and he looks damn good on that field. If you're a streaming quarterback player in fantasy football, you're definitely starting Geno this week. Rashad Penny did look better last week, but I still got the mid-level risk on him. I want to see more consistency out of him, where I do have Kenneth Walker as a high risk. He is dealing with a shoulder injury, so they likely will lean upon a Rashad Penny in this contest as well. What did I tell y'all about this wide receiver core this season between Metcalf and Lockett? They're going to swap week in, week out, whichever one is going to have the bigger day. I think this week is DK week. DK Metcalf week, fire him up. You're going to likely start a Tyler Lockett versus New Orleans as well, but I think Metcalf has the better day overall. I think they both go over 10 points, which should be smiling because the Saints defense is beatable, but I mean, they will have their struggles, and I think Geno's going to do enough to at least move this ball. Will Disley gets the mid-level risk this week because this man all he's doing is catching touchdowns. And that's what we require from our tight ends, is finding the end zone and catching touchdowns. So, Will Disley, if you're stuck at a tight end, definitely play him. I like the play. I got some kahunas on that one. I got some big ones. I'm definitely playing Will Disley this week. Tampa Bay versus Atlanta. They need a revenge game, a get-right game like nobody's business. Tommy Touchdown dealing with the divorce with his wife, and he's angry. He's got to get a little bit angry. Low-risk play for Tommy Touchdown and Leonard Fournette this week. I think they get they get right in a very, very big way. This is for first place in the NFC South. Atlanta's pretending. We know this. They're keeping things competitive, but the competition hasn't been abundant. The Tampa Bay Bucks got got punched in the face and their butts handed to them by the Chiefs last week. This is the get-right game for them. Mike Evans, stud start play. Rachaad White's high risk, but I like that I see more involvement from this man. Potentially, as this game does wear on, if Tampa Bay does have a big lead, Rachaad White could give you that high-end productivity at the end of the game where they rest Lenny as he's been dealing with a hamstring all season already. It's too high risk to play because you're banking on Tommy to have like a 40-point lead and them to run the ball with White for the fourth quarter. So you can't do it this week. You just got to watch and see what the tail is going to say in this contest. Russell Gage is a mid-level risk. I'd rather play Chris Godwin. Julio Jones dealing with the injury still. We do have no Cameron Brate. It is Cade Otton, so I mean high-level risk for the tight end position. So I'm going with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, and Tom Brady in this contest as my starts. The rest of them are very much, you can mix and match with other players if you have better talent with a better matchup. Tennessee Titans at the Washington Commanders, the Commies. This is going to be an ugly one, too, because the Commies need a bounce back, but the Titans, they're moving. They finally understood, hey, we got a, thoroughbred King Henry in the backfield. Why aren't we handing him the ball? So they started doing that again. He gets back to the stud start plays. He's got 2 boom games in the past 2 weeks. You got to love it. 61 points, but Ryan Tannehill's looking a little bit more efficient. Again, play action pass is key. It's home for Tannehill. Robert Woods, he's back on the fantasy radar. Mid-level play this week. Once again, he's finding ways to get into the end zone. No Treylon Burks. He is out this week with an injury. So Kyle Phillips, Nick Westbrook, Akeen are the plays that I do not trust. I would keep them on the bench or on the waiver. And Jeff Swam for the tight end. I mean, they don't utilize tight end in Tennessee for some reason. So it basically is Derrick Henry and Robert Woods sprinkled in with a little Dontrell Hilliard. High-risk level play for him as well. So low risk for Tannehill, stud start for Henry, and Robert Woods mid-level risk play. I will fire up all 3 of them. Finishing it off with these Washington Commanders, the Commies. I just love saying the Commies. But anyway, versus Tennessee, Carson Wentz in this offense. What the hell happened to y'all? You started off the season with 2 beautiful offensive showings. Yes, you're 1-3. You dropped the contest. Carson Wentz, you look horrific, man. And I get it. The offensive line's doing you no favors. Very difficult to throw the ball, run the ball when your offensive line is just not doing damage, man. Antonio Gibson, mid-level risk. He's starting to see his share of the workload start to taper off. And we got news that Brian Robinson is going to be suiting up very, very soon. I'm excited. I'm a big Brian Robinson supporter and truther. He should get a lot of touches from the backfield once he does return. J.D. McKissick without a Jahan Dotson may be a very sneaky PPR play this week. So if you have McKissick, I would look in his direction at the running back spot if you are dealing with some injuries. Stud start does go to Terry McLaurin. I'm going on the limb, going on the edge. This is a game Terry gets right in a very big way. It just hasn't happened for him because there are too many weapons on this offense. Curtis Samuel still very much a low risk, leading the wide receivers in Washington with 50 fantasy points. Diami Brown and others will get sprinkled in, but they will not see any kind of play high risk for him. Logan Thomas also a low-level risk without a Jahan Dotson, so they're going to have to find ways to manufacture other players' point productivity. Logan Thomas could very much get a good contest this game. So Logan Thomas, Curtis Samuel, and Terry McLaurin definitely playing them this week. If you have injury problems, J.D. McKissick is your guy. Carson Wentz I am not trusting, though I'm hoping that he can support it all. But again, we could get a very big bust overall from this offense because it just has not looked good. So there you have it. That is week number 5. Starts it, man. I mean, it is what it is. We got to plug in the right players. You got to keep winning. If you got big money leagues like I do, money's on the line. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments. Give me your starts and questions. If you have them, I will answer you back. But we'll see you next time. Enjoy the contest. I am out.